Trees are beautiful and magnificent. These magical air purifiers are important to the sustainability of our planet. But sometimes you must chop. I am Charlie Satarsky, and this is Lumber Along. Hello, and welcome to a new YouTube series called Lumber Along. I'm your host, Charlie Satarsky, and in this series, basically, we're just gonna go around from game to game, analyzing the lumberjacking of each game. Because you know why? Because lumberjacking is a very important part of, I'd argue, every video game. Every video game has trees, right? So that means there has to be some sort of lumberjacking aspect. So let's start this lumberjacking series, where we focus on lumberjacking some trees off. With a game called Stardew Valley. Now I know this is a little weird. I still gotta work out the positioning of my camera and everything with my setup, because I'm confined to this little corner of my studio apartment. So, you know, I don't exactly have a lot of space. Go that way. If I move the tripod back 2 feet that way, and it hits my closet door. So it doesn't really work out very well. But here we are. So Stardew Valley. We'll just create a new world. Prepare for our lumbering along. Lumberjack. Farm name. Lumber along. Favorite thing. Wood. I'm not seeing anything that screams lumberjack, if I'm being completely honest, which is a little problematic. That's a little bit of a bad sign for Stardew Valley on the lumber scale. Honestly, I feel like just shirt 1 is the most lumberjacky. How do you feel about the word lumberjacky? Let me know down below, because I'm a little torn. I think it might be a term that we should start using more often on this. Oh yeah, that's a hefty. That's a good beard. We want to skip the intro, and we want the forest farm, of course. Parsnip seeds mean nothing to us. So we got an axe used to chop wood. This is the tool we need. So here we have some trees. They look like spruce trees. I should really do my research into different trees. So it looks like they got needles as opposed to leaves. Oh, did you hear that? You hear that thud? That is clean. That is crisp. That is a nice thud. It's a very satisfying sound. Oh, that snap. Ooh. Perfect. Ah, that was a beautiful tree sound, if I do say so myself. So, from a sound perspective, chopping this tree down, I give Stardew a solid 9 out of 10 decibels. Axes. At some point in time, I'll come up with a scaling system. This is episode 1, okay? We gotta let the series form. We gotta let the series take shape, you know? So, very good sound. 9 out of 10. Now, so you got little cracks as you chop the trunk. When the tree's chopped, not much is seen besides the timber, which is a little underwhelming. It's kind of just a straight fall. Just like one of those like a 90-degree angle. It follows. What's the type of triangle? Right triangle. But the trunk makes the appearance of the trunk changes as you do damage to it, which I think is interesting. I think that's something that needs to be changed about the actual tree. I think the tree needs to start showing something. Now we got this kind of tree here, which is a little curvy. We'll call it the curvy tree. It's definitely got leaves as opposed to needles or pines. So, let's see if this is any different. Got the same sound. Pretty much the exact same sound. Yeah. Interestingly, that trunk didn't seem to show signs of taking damage. Yeah, no. Okay, so that trunk doesn't change, which is weird. You got this tree here, which honestly might be the same, just a different model. It's a little thicker than the last tree we chopped down. So let's see if it's not any different. So what I'm picking up on a pattern here is that the only unique tree to chop down are these ones, because their trunk changes, which is interesting. Now, this seems like a good game if you're interested in mass tree chopping, because you got like a lot of trees here. Of course, I chose the forest farm, but there's a lot of trees. So if you're a fan of mass deforestation, such as myself, then Stardew Valley might be a pretty good choice if you're, like I said, if you're just a fan of destroying the forest. If you love flattening forests, if you like seeing those trees come down, then Stardew Valley is probably a pretty decent to get that kick. But the only problem is, I believe once you chop all the trees down, you have to like plant saplings. And when you plant saplings, it takes time for the trees to grow into their full form like this. So you might have periods of time where you don't have any trees to chop, which could be very problematic. Obviously, because like I said, the most important part of any video game is tree chopping. Another thing interesting to note about Stardew Valley is this area. You can also chop down trees in this area down here. There might be more areas. I don't know. I know you can't do it in this town. But now as for whether the trees grow back here in this area, I don't actually know if the trees grow back here. I never got far enough in the game to clearly say whether trees grow back in this area on their own, or if you can plant here. I never tried planting. I never got far enough in the game though, because we get to a certain point when I'm playing with my friends. We get to a certain point in the game, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I don't feel like playing Stardew anymore," and then so we stop playing Stardew, and then 3 months later, when we just decide that we want to play Stardew again, they're like, "Oh, that world's old. We got to start a new world." Yes, I'm throwing shade. But, so, this is a cool tree though. Cool. Let's just chop down some more trees then, huh? Oh, I'm slowing down. Oh. I'm exhausted. I see. Well. I guess there comes a point in every lumberjack story where you can no longer jack lumber. And I suppose we have reached that point where I can no longer chop wood that effectively. I'm sorry, this is a lot to take in. I must apologize. I lost my cool for a moment there. I'm really sorry I can't keep chopping wood. I think I'm gonna have to end the episode there. So, to conclude this episode of Lumber Along, I will have to say that the sound effects of hitting the tree in Stardew Valley it's beautiful. Let's be real, these look like trees. There's no mistaking that. but they're very pixelated. And now that is the aesthetic of Stardew Valley, and also the animation of the tree chopping is not. It's not great. The tree falling, I mean. So for visuals, I'm gonna have to give Stardew Valley a 5 out of 10. It's pretty average. And then for sound though, I actually think I'm gonna go up to 10 out of 10. It's like not perfectly realistic, but it's a beautiful sound nonetheless. So overall, I think that puts Stardew at an average. Let's say, I think Stardew Valley gets a solid like 7 out of 10, carried heavily by the sound. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Lumber Along. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up with the future uploads. I'm really looking forward to filming more of these episodes. I don't think they're all going to be long or short, or I don't know what the length is going to be. I don't think there's going to be a standard length. I don't know. It depends on the game. But yeah, then there's going to be competitive episodes too. So stay tuned for that. And see you next week in the next episode.